What if I told you that before there were oceans, before there were rivers, before the first rain fell from the sky, there was a mother, and when her heart broke, the entire world filled with water? Welcome to African Storyverse. Today we are diving into the story of Yemoja, the Yoruba goddess of the ocean, the mother of all Orishas, and one of the most powerful deities to ever cross the Atlantic. Before we begin, subscribe to African Storyverse and click the notification bell, because every week we uncover the forgotten giants who shaped Africa. To understand Yemoja, you have to understand something about the Yoruba people, one of the largest ethnic groups in Africa, centered in what is now southwestern Nigeria. The Yoruba didn't just build kingdoms, they built an entire cosmology, a universe of gods and spirits called the Orishas, each one governing a force of nature. And at the center of that universe stood Yemoja. Her name literally means mother whose children are fish. Not because she is cold or distant, but because her children are countless. According to Yoruba tradition, Yemoja is the mother of all living things. The rivers, the oceans, the creatures within them, all born from her. But here's the surprising truth. Yemoja was not always the goddess of the ocean. In the earliest Yoruba accounts, she was the goddess of the Ogun River, a real river that still flows through Nigeria today. The Ogun River winds through Ogun and Lagos states, and for centuries, devotees believed Yemoja's spirit lived within its waters. She was a river goddess first, tied to the earthy brown waters of her homeland. How did a river goddess become the queen of the entire ocean? The answer is a story of heartbreak so profound that it reshaped the spiritual map of two continents. The story goes like this. In the earliest days, Yemoja was married to Olokun, the Orisha of the deep sea. Olokun ruled the ocean floor, where sunlight never reaches and where mysteries older than humanity itself are buried. Together, Yemoja and Olokun represented the fullness of water, the nurturing surface and the unknowable depths. But their union was not peaceful. The myths describe Olokun as jealous, suspicious of Yemoja's power, threatened by the love her children showed her. The tension between them grew until it became unbearable. One day, Yemoja could endure it no longer. She fled. She ran from the deep sea toward the land, toward the rivers she had always known, toward safety. And as she ran, she wept. These were not ordinary tears. Yemoja's tears were tears of a mother separated from everything she loved. Tears of a goddess who had given life to the world and received pain in return. As her tears fell, they did not sink into the ground and disappear. They grew. Her tears became the rivers. They became the lakes. They became the oceans. Every drop that fell from Yemoja's face swelled into a body of water. The Atlantic Ocean itself, according to this tradition, was born from a mother's grief. When you stand at the edge of the sea and feel the salt spray on your face, what you are feeling is the echo of Yemoja's tears, still falling, still remembering. To most people, the ocean is just water, vast, impersonal, indifferent. To the Yoruba, it was the heart of a mother, still beating beneath the waves. But here is where Yemoja's story takes its most powerful turn, and its most painful one. Between the 16th and 19th centuries, millions of Yoruba people were captured from their homeland. They were chained in the holds of slave ships and forced across the very ocean that Yemoja had created with her tears. The Atlantic became a graveyard. An estimated 2 million Africans died during the crossing. But something extraordinary happened during those centuries of horror. The captives did not abandon Yemoja. They carried her with them. In Brazil, Yemoja became Yemanjá, the Queen of the Sea, celebrated every February 2nd in Salvador, Bahia, where thousands of devotees dressed in white walk to the shore and offer flowers, perfume, and mirrors to the waves. In Cuba, she became Yemayá, the mother of all Orishas in the Santería tradition, honored in ceremonies filled with drumming, dancing, and devotion. In Trinidad, Haiti, and across the Caribbean, her name was spoken, her waters were honored, her motherhood was celebrated. Think about what this means. A goddess born next to a Nigerian river survived the largest forced migration in human history. She crossed the Atlantic not in chains, but in hearts, in songs, in whispered prayers in the holds of ships where no prayer should have been possible. Most rulers searched for larger armies, but Yemoja conquered 2 continents with nothing but love. Today, Yemoja is one of the most widely worshipped African deities on earth. Every year in Nigeria, the Ogun River festival draws thousands of devotees to her original shrine. In Brazil, the Festa de Yemanjá fills the beaches of Salvador with offerings that drift out to sea. In Cuba, the rhythms of Santería ceremonies call her name alongside other Orishas like Oshun, Oya, and Shango, who are her children in the mythology. And it's not just in Africa and the Americas. Yemoja has been embraced by spiritual seekers around the world. People drawn to her maternal power, her connection to water, her story of survival. But here is what makes Yemoja truly extraordinary. She is not a goddess of war. She carries no sword. She commands no army. Her power is not in destruction, but in creation. She is the mother, patient, fierce, protective, eternal. And in a world that often celebrates conquest, Yemoja represents something older and more profound: the power to nurture life itself. The ocean remembers her name, and as long as the waves keep rolling toward the shore, Yemoja's story will never be forgotten. So the next time someone tells you that African spirituality is primitive, or that African gods are forgotten, remember Yemoja. Remember that an African mother's tears became the ocean. Remember that her children carried her across the Atlantic in the darkest hours of human history. And remember that every wave that touches the shore is her reminder, I am still here. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Subscribe to African Storyverse and click the notification bell, because Africa's greatest stories are only just beginning. The ocean was born from a mother's tears, and now you know her name.